Hey guys, so it has been a little while. The last update I posted was a long time ago, but my last video was my gender reveal, so definitely check that out if you haven't already, because I'm about to spoil the gender for you very shortly. But yeah, and that video I think was like a little while ago as well. But I talk about in that video how I've been feeling really sick and everything, and so that's the reason I haven't been posting, and I've also been dealing with some depression and things like that. So I go into that kind of in depth. I don't know, I go into the gender stuff pretty in depth in that video. So, but today I have a little list. I'm out of breath, you guys. Like, I just kind of picked up the kitchen a little bit, and for some reason I'm out of breath. Like, I'm almost at the end of the first trimester, I believe, because I'm 13 weeks. I'll be 14 weeks on Monday. So I'm close to the end of the first trimester, and I'm already feeling like out of breath, and it's got me worried. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit, how I need to get working out and stuff, and hopefully once I start feeling better, which, spoiler alert, I still don't feel very well, but I'm hoping that I'm almost at the end of that. But I'm hoping that I will get more into like yoga and walking and exercising, because man, I am already I'm showing a ton, which I will show you guys in a minute, and I'm already just feeling like really winded and tired from doing not that much activity. But anyway, so today I'm going to talk about how I've been handling my gender disappointment. I'm going to react a little bit to some of the comments, some of the backlash that I got on my gender reveal video. It's called a real and raw gender reveal, and that's exactly what it was. I'm going to talk a little bit about the depression issues that I've been having. I'm going to talk about my toddler, who will be 2 in January. The ER visit that we had right before Thanksgiving, that was really, really scary. And it's sad, and just bringing it up now, even though it's been like a month or so, makes me want to start crying. But I just kind of want to, that's not necessarily pregnancy related, although I was dealing with pregnancy nausea while in the ER with the child. So I thought I would just throw that in there as like an update. We have switched the kids' rooms, so I thought I would talk a little bit about that, since we are bringing a 3rd child into our 3-bedroom house. And then I'll talk about my symptoms, weight gain, stuff like that. So that's an overview. Okay, so let's start. First of all, I guess I should tell you guys, I am 13 weeks pregnant. I already said that, I think. So yeah, oh, and I have this app. I got this from Erin Williams, of course, who else? She's amazing. And it shows you the size of your baby. So that is our little baby. That's like the size about, I mean, I don't think all babies are like obviously exactly the same size, but that's like about the size that he is right now, which I think is really cute. And you can kind of like move the baby around, and it just kind of makes the baby feel more real to me. We also do pretty much have a name, which I'm not going to say in this video, but we do have a name. So if you haven't watched the gender reveal, go watch it, because now I'm about to spoil it. So yes. Okay, the memory card that I'm using is like the bad one, but it's the only one that I have empty because I filmed the kids opening their Christmas presents yesterday. So anyway, sorry about that if we get some like weird stops in the middle of the video. But yes, so we are having a boy. It is our 3rd boy, and I talk a lot about in the gender reveal, oh, nose stitching, about my disappointment, and because I have felt this loss of a dream of having a girl, having a daughter, and the biggest, like, a lot of people could relate, and I would say 90% or more were so kind and understanding, like in the comments, and I was just like, wow, like it's just so nice to have you guys as friends here on the internet, and it's just an amazing like little community. And I think that's awesome, and it was really cool because other women opened up to me that said they didn't really talk about that with very many people. And I think it's just a good topic to discuss, bring out in the open, and make it a little bit less taboo if you do have gender disappointment, because of course you love your child, but that doesn't mean that you may not be disappointed by the gender. Like, I don't know why some people can't get that, but I know a lot of people who have experienced it get it. So that was great. But I did have some people, and it kind of broke my heart a little bit, I had some people comment saying that they had been struggling with infertility or that they had lost a child, particularly a boy, and that they just had a hard time watching my video for that reason. And man, like I feel for you. We tried for about 9 months and it was so hard on me, and it is really, once I get to the depression talk in this video, it really contributed to my feelings of depression now. So I can't imagine if it's taken you a year, 2 years. I mean, I have friends that have gone through that or are going through that, and it's hard, and I am so sorry. And then to lose a child, like, I can't even imagine. Like, that is literally the worst thing I think that could ever happen to me, like my biggest fear. But I want you guys to understand that when I post something real and raw, when I'm doing that, it may feel polarizing, or it may, you know, when you're posting something that is so super honest, it may upset some people. But I don't think that just because it will upset some people that you shouldn't talk about it, that you shouldn't be allowed to express your feelings, your pain, your sorrow. And the best way that I can explain my gender disappointment is that I am going through a grieving process. I am grieving the daughter that I may never have. Now, we may try again. I'm not 100% on that. Before I got pregnant, I was pretty certain that I wanted, we had 2 boys, and before I got pregnant with this baby, I was pretty certain I wanted 2 more. So that would be 1 more after this. But my husband is not really on board with that. And you know, the kids cost a lot of money, so there's the financial side, and then we have not the biggest house, so there's that. There's a lot of factors in it. But just like from my heart of like wanting children just from that side, I did feel like I would want 1 more, even if this one was a girl. But then I got pregnant, and I'll talk about my symptoms for a second. You guys, oh, it is so much tougher being pregnant in the first trimester, dealing with exhaustion, nausea, hormone issues, just all of that stuff, while you're also a mother to a toddler. Just that is like, makes it so much tougher. And when I had my second, my oldest was like 8.5 years old. When I was pregnant, he was like, so it's just totally different. But not only that, I homeschool. I have my YouTube channel, which obviously I haven't been posting very much. Like, I have a house that I have to take care of. I have a husband. I have all of these responsibilities. And when you have so many responsibilities, and I was just getting a handle on like balancing all of that before I got pregnant, and then you're pregnant and you're sick for like over 2 months, at least for me, if you're just sick in the first trimester, which hopefully I'll be feeling better soon. Like, that's tough. And so I started to think, okay, if this is a girl, I'm done. Like 100% I am done. And who knows how I would feel after I got out of the first trimester, or after I had that girl. I may have still wanted another child. But at that point I was like, all right, this is tough. This is really, really hard right now. And I think I'm just gonna be done. Well, then we found out we're having a boy, and that was really hard on me. And now I'm at this point where I just don't know, because I do not want to try again if I just solely want to do it because I want a girl, and if it's a boy, I'm gonna be just as devastated or more devastated than I am now. I don't want to go through that. I want to just start to continue this grieving process of the fact that I will never have a girl. And you know, and my mother-in-law, she was the one that brought up that I am going through some grief and grieving the loss of that dream. It's really so true. I mean, I go through waves where sometimes I'm fine and I'm just kind of will complain about it, or sometimes I'll just start crying. Like, just at the drop of a hat, I'll just start crying about it. And if someone brings it up to me, that really, like, I will start crying, like 100%. And people probably feel so bad. They're making this like pregnant woman cry, and that's never their intention. But yeah, so, you know, it's just, it's different. And if you haven't gone through gender disappointment, you probably just can't understand it. Just like I could never understand other people's struggles. And I never want to hurt anyone. I don't want to hurt any of you guys. But I still want to speak my truth, you know? And sometimes truth can be a little bit hurtful. Like, even now that I'm experiencing this, watching other moms that have daughters and watching them say things like, dress them up really cute or whatever, do girly things with them and be like, this is why I always wanted a girl. Like one of the many reasons I wanted a girl, like that stabs me in the heart. That hurts. But did they do that to hurt me? No. Should I be upset with them because they're happy and they're feeling blessed? No. So I don't know. Anyway, I think that's all I'm going to talk about with the gender disappointment. I don't want to go on forever about it, but I just wanted to say that number one, I would never ever want to hurt any of you guys. I would never want to hurt anyone, and I think most people are that way. Most people, unless you're like a psychopath, don't want to hurt others. But sometimes when you speak your truth and when you have a different experience than someone else, it may, hurt them a little bit. But I just hope that you guys know that that's never my intention. So, okay, so that's how I'm doing with the gender disappointment. I love this baby with all my heart. I do feel, I don't know how you other mamas feel when you're pregnant. I don't feel totally connected to the child yet until they're born. Like when Henry was born, my second, I was like instantly like obsessed with him. But before that, I loved him, but I wasn't like, I don't know, it's just different for me when they're born. With my first, it was like my first child, and so I think I felt kind of possessive of him because I was a young mom and some people wanted me to have an abortion and stuff like that, and so I felt really like, no, this is my baby, like you can't touch this, and I felt a little bit more connected to him in that way, I think. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of how I feel when I'm pregnant, regardless of the gender. But yeah, so okay, let's go on to my next point that I wanted to talk about a little bit, and that has been some depression that I've been feeling. When you're pregnant, there are so many hormones going crazy, and it's just, and you're sick. It's just a really, really tough time. Now, some women don't get sick and they just love being pregnant and they have really easy pregnancies, and that's awesome, but that's just not my experience. And I don't know, I don't even know how to talk about this depression thing. Some of it has to do with the gender disappointment. A lot of it has to do, for some reason, I'm still not over how long it took us to get pregnant. That was such a roller coaster ride for me. You guys watched that, some of you, if you've been watching my channel. And then also just being so sick, I don't have the energy to get the house perfectly clean. And that just like is so hard because I truly feel more comfortable in a house that's really clean. Like if I go to like my in-laws' house, their house is always like perfectly clean, and my mother-in-law is always cooking something tasty and it smells wonderful, and that just feels so homey, and I want that for my home. But I do have to realize she's in a different stage of life than I am. She doesn't have young children, she's not homeschooling. Like she did homeschool her kids, but obviously they're grown now. So yeah, you just have to, I think, give yourself a little bit of grace during the time when you're not fully yourself and you're dealing with taking care of little ones while also being sick. My husband has been great. He's been super helpful. He really picks up the slack. He picks up the toys. He does the dishes most of the time. But I think most women would say that the husband doesn't always do it exactly like you would, but it has taught me a lesson in like giving myself a break a little bit, because I see my husband and he's doing amazing. He's always fixing anything that's broken in this house, he's fixing it. He works, obviously, and then he comes home, he takes care of the family, he does all these wonderful things. But he can't do it all, he can't do everything. He can't also like wipe down this house from top to bottom. And so that just kind of reminds me, I think like, I don't know if it's as women or if it's just me, I put a lot more pressure on myself. Like, oh, who cares if you've got all these other things going on? You need to have the house like perfectly clean. And that's just not realistic when you've got other things going on. So anyway, that has helped me realize that. But I don't know, I've really struggled with getting out of this depression, seeing things so negatively. Really had a hard time seeing things in a positive light. Some people commented on my gender reveal that it was just like the saddest video they've ever seen, which I think that's because, and that's weird because it's a gender reveal, but I think that's because they don't fully see that I'm grieving the loss of the daughter that I always imagined to have. The daughter that I imagine when she's like 10 years old, she comes to me and says, oh, it's gonna make me cry, okay? We cannot even say this, but that she comes to me and says, Mom, I wanna get my ears pierced. Oh gosh, that is it. Pregnant people, sorry if this is like depressing to you, but I just wanna be real in these videos because I just think that that's just who I am and I don't want to conform to someone else. But like, I may never, if we don't try again, or if we try again and it's another boy, I may never have a daughter who comes to me and says, I want to get my ears pierced, and then I take her to the mall or wherever, you know, Claire's, that's where I got mine done. I'm sure there's better places than Claire's, and we get her ears pierced, and she, you know, I help her clean it, keep it clean from getting infected, and then once it's healed, we start picking out cute little earrings for her to wear. I don't know, just like little things like that like I just always pictured doing with my daughter, that you just have to learn to let go of them. And that's what I'm trying to like go through in this process, is let go of that and think of all the great things I can do with my boys and just in my life. I've been thinking that, man, like, I'm not just a mom, you know, and I need some kind of life outside of that as well. And maybe the girly stuff is just things that I get to do with me or with my friends or with my sisters or, you know, whatever. So anyway, let's move on. Okay, Henry's ER visit. I just wanted to update you guys on this because I know once I get back to my cleaning videos and stuff, you guys are gonna notice something. Oh no, I'm already crying. And now this is a really sad thing to talk about. Okay. You guys are gonna notice that our German Shepherd Lily is no longer in our videos. Lily was a fantastic dog. Oh no, I know my son's coming in. I'll have to tell him to go outside for a minute because I don't want to talk about this around him. But she was an amazing dog. You guys saw it in the video, she followed me around everywhere I went. She was very protective. She was a good dog. She was about 12 or 13 years old, and she was my dad's dog, but he was traveling a lot, so he gave her to us for later in her life. And the time that we had with her, while very short, was, you know, a good time. It's tough. Animals are tough. Carter, I'm doing a video, so either go outside or go in your room. 1 second. So anyway, okay, so what happened was, one evening we were all just sitting on the couch. I was sitting on the couch, so was Henry, our almost 2-year-old. Jared was sitting on the recliner. We were watching like probably the Rockets, some sports thing, or just something on TV. And Lily was laying on the in front of the couch on the floor. And she was on the opposite side that I was on. And Henry just kind of is wild, he's a wild guy, and he started walking around on the couch. And I saw him walk towards the side that Lily was sleeping on the floor, and he started to fall, and it was like slow motion for me. And I tried to run to grab him because I knew it would not be good. Lily, her hips, she had major hip problems. It's something that happens to German Shepherds as they get older, so she's in a lot of pain. And she doesn't like to be messed with. She doesn't like other dogs. So I just knew it wasn't going to be good. So he falls on top of her and she bites him. And I think it was just one bite. In the moment, it felt like she bit him multiple times. It was just like I saw her teeth and it was so scary. And I yelled at her, and the second I yelled at her, she backed off. But Henry had blood pouring down from his eye area. And then he also had a cut right here. So it was like she bit him like this. So very scary. You don't know if your toddler is going to go blind when there's blood pouring from their eye. Jared was very calm about it, and he just got some tissue and helped stop the bleeding. And then I was like, we have to go to the ER. We are going to the ER. So packed up my older son, we went to our local ER, and they said pretty quickly, we noticed that it wasn't his eyeball. It was just like next to his eye, which we were just so thankful for, and that helped calm us down. But the doctor saw he needed stitches on this part of his face, and then he needed, they were afraid that the tear duct was ripped here. And if you can't produce tears, that is not good. obviously. So they gave him some medicine to kind of calm him down. And they wrapped him up like a burrito, and they did the stitches, which he was still crying, and it was terrible. It was terrible. I'm just there holding him, just saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It was just horrible. But then he kind of inspected his eye. They put some dye in it, and he was not an eye expert, and so he just couldn't tell for sure, the doctor, if the tear duct was damaged or not. So then they transferred us to the ER downtown, which we live in Houston, and we are so lucky to live around some fantastic doctors. And so we were transferred to Texas Children's, which Texas Children's is awesome because they have tons of specialists. Like there, they have like tons of different types of doctors. So we got there, and we ended up staying there the whole night, because none of the doctors, some plastic surgeons came in, and they just couldn't quite tell if he would need stitches or whatever. And so they were gonna have to really sedate him, not fully put him to sleep, but he's basically, you know, he can open his eyes and stuff, but he's just gonna be laying there. He's not gonna fight it, because he's a fighter. Anytime they would try and touch him or look at him, he would fight them as hard as he could. And so they eventually decided that it needed to be like an eye specialist doctor, and unfortunately for us, the eye doctor that was on duty or call or whatever was not answering, and I guess they thought he could have been hurt. They didn't know what was going on, so we ended up having to wait for a super long time. They put the IV in him, which was terrible, and then we still had to wait super long after that. I think Henry got about 3 hours of sleep that night. Jared and I got maybe an hour each. Keep in mind, this is when I have pregnancy nausea, but I think the adrenaline was so high that I really didn't feel that bad. I made sure I packed like a couple bags of chips because I have to eat. That's what helps me not feel so sick. And that is like a pro tip with nausea. You may not want to eat, but trust me, eat 3 big meals a day or a bunch of little meals. Eat, trust me, it'll make you feel better. But anyway, so we ran out of that, and I had to go spend tons of money at the vending machine, you know, at the hospital. But I was okay, thankfully, with my nausea. And I was just like, I mean, it was hard. You're sitting in the hospital with this baby who likes to run around and is very active, and we are having to trap him in there. Luckily, we had our phones, although they kept dying, and we had one charger, so we would switch that off, switch off charging our phones so that he could watch something to keep him sitting there, because otherwise he's gonna wanna move around and get into stuff. So finally, they got an eye doctor that morning around like 8 a.m., something like that. And keep in mind, this all started at 8 p.m. the night before. And they got an anesthesiologist and put him, you know, not fully under, but basically, and they used these tools, these like very thin looking tools, to put it like through parts of his eye. I don't even know. It looked scary. I was just, tears just falling from my face the entire time watching it. It's weird when you go to the ER and it's an emergency type of situation, because at least for the stuff we were doing, the stitches, the eye exam, we're in the room, we're watching this happen to our baby, and it was really sad to see. But thank you, God, he didn't need any surgery or anything. She missed the tear duct, so she missed his eye completely, she missed the tear duct. And they said it was just gonna heal on its own. The little like piece that was coming up was just gonna heal on its own. So so thankful for all of that. And then our families came together, made us food. This was right before Thanksgiving, so I had planned all this food I was gonna make, didn't do any of it, and they were fine with that. They brought us food. My dad paid for a cleaning service. Like, so many people just came together to support us, which was amazing. But obviously we couldn't keep Lily. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. It's very sad, but yeah. I think my husband is home now, so I think I'm gonna end this video here. I have gained like 10 pounds already, which really stinks, like really bad, because I'm only in the first trimester, and normally I don't gain that much in the first trimester. So that's why I wanna start like working out, and I'm hoping, I just can't eat healthy right now. I eat whatever the heck I want, you guys. anything to make me feel somewhat okay. But I'm hoping that within a week, because I do remember around the 12th or 13th week with Henry being like, why am I still sick? And being afraid that it's never gonna end, but then it does. So I think around maybe next week or the next, I'll start to feel better. And so then I'll get back into having like my smoothies and my kale salad and like my healthier foods. And then hopefully I'll feel well enough to go on walks and do yoga and stuff like that. So that's what I'm gonna do to try and get this weight gain under control. I'll show you my belly really quick. And then, yeah, I think that will be it. Oh, I have bought a few things for the baby. I guess I could show you guys that too, once we found out the gender. But yeah, my belly has gotten pretty big already. It's kind of embarrassing how big it's gotten, but yeah, it's already pretty big. So, okay. Bye guys, or I might show you some clothes.